So this is my 1963 Fordson Super Major. I am getting set up to split it so I can try to replace this clutch. I've been doing some prep work. So I've got chain hoist strapped up. I'm gonna jack the back end a little bit. I'm gonna lift up the front end with this chain hoist, separate it a little bit, set the back end down on the cribbing. I'll put the jack underneath the front and I'll roll it out of the way, and then I'll set it down on jack stands. Bottom three are loose. Great success. Come on. I've got a ratchet strap to the truck, to the front of the tractor. I'm gonna ratchet from that end. I have you guys watching it over here. Hopefully the tractor doesn't fall. And just like that, we're separated. We are down on the cribbing. Okay, let's look at what's going on here. We have a bunch of pieces of that clutch down in the bottom here, and we're leaking oil. Can't quite tell where we're leaking from, but we'll figure that out. And then if you look over here, we got massive just chunks in here. This looks like it's worn unevenly right in here, but as of right now I don't see anything that's cracked. It does look like we've slipped off the cradle on this side, so I have to get that back in there. Sorry. There you go. So I'll have to figure that out. Oh, that's what this was. This is a little oiler for the throwout bearing. I was wondering what that was. That's right here. Alright, well, I'm gonna get cleaned up and we'll start tearing it apart. Alright, everything seems to be going into gear. Thankfully. I don't necessarily like how floppy that is. Everything seems to be going, or to be okay, except for there's clutch material everywhere. I'm not seeing any cracks. So let me get try to get this back on. That's fine. It was stuck before because it when that clutch exploded, I'm guessing this had pushed out too far. And there's not a stop on that clutch pedal, so I bet they were just jamming it as hard as they could, and they popped this throwout bearing off of the fingers here. Yeah, that throwout bearing sounds fine. I need to look to see if maybe there is supposed to be something here. I don't know. Woo. I'm not sure where we left off at. The camera died last night and I was too lazy to go change the battery. So I cleaned out all the gunk from around the flywheel, in the drain up underneath. I hosed down the inside of the bell housing, trying to see where the actual leak is coming from. And the only thing I see is there's some fluid coming out of the weep hole for the input shaft seal. There is a gasket around the primary gearbox housing that looks like it may have torn. In order to put a paper gasket around that, we would have to drop the PTO, remove the gas tank, remove the top cover, and then be able to pull this out. So what I think I'm gonna do instead, I'm gonna replace this seal, and I'm gonna try to unbolt the housing and get it out just far enough that I can get some RTV behind it. I've got the clutch pad. I'm gonna drain the fluid, and we're gonna pull this plate off so I can get the actual part number that's on the seal and see if I can find it easier that way. Yeah, that seal is shot. Shot, shot, shot. Surface seems fine. Chips and pieces of the seal. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. All that surface is gone. This shaft seal for the transmission input shaft. I can't find anywhere locally, so I've ordered it online. I gotta wait for it to come in. Oh! So in the meantime, try to get this clutch put back on. I don't think I'm going to do sealant around these where these gaskets were, like I was talking about. Because this input shaft seal was in such bad shape, I mean the whole inside is gone. You got bits and pieces of it everywhere at the spring. I'm pretty sure this was the source of our leak, because I mean this whole bell housing was full. I'm going to replace this and fill it up with fluid before I put the tractor back together. If I'm still getting a leak around from these gaskets, we'll reseal the stuff then. I just don't want to go through the pain of dealing with this gearbox housing and just trying to pull it out just far enough to get sealant in there and everything, because I really don't want to have to pull all the rest of the crap just to pull it all the way out. So if it still leaks, we'll figure out a way to do the sealant, but with this being as bad as it was, I'm fairly confident that this is the whole issue. Oh, it's gonna be a pain in the butt. All right. Oh, come on. Let me get just one started here. So unfortunately for me, I need to take the clutch back off so that I can replace the pilot bearing. I wasn't gonna do it, and then I got to thinking about it, and it does look pretty bad. So while I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Catch the plate, and there we go. This just looks like a bushing. Yeah, you can see how it's all chewed up. I hope you can see it. Yeah. You see how it's all chewed up around here? This doesn't look like it was ever a bearing. It looks like it was a bushing. But the book and the internet tell me that it's supposed to be a bearing. I know there's somebody that's probably saying, "You idiot, something, 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 something." And you know what? Something, something back, because I don't know nothing about this tractor. Not much, anyway. Let me see if I can get something and try to pull this. This isn't gonna work. doing nothing. The head came off my dead blow. Nice. Unfortunate. I don't want to do it. You can't make me do it. Oh. Let's get some pressure on this. Hopefully I don't drop it. Or pinch my finger. There we go. You son of a butt. Woo, this thing's heavy. We needed to pull that anyway. Yeah. There was still clutch disc material left back here. Okay. I feel better. See if we can drive it out. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, it's just a solid brass bushing. And this one. That's weird. Well, it's kind of chewed up, but let's see if this will work. This goes like this, I believe. I'm not quite where I need to be. Okay. Woo. Another one. Come on. Not even close on that one. Come on. Oh. Yep. There we go. This one's got to go down just a little bit. Up. Come on. So now I got to lift this side up without moving. Oh, come on. I just want to lift you up. What do I got to do here? Rotate. On. Hey! Alright, so the clutch is back on. Just for comparison. This is what came out. You can see it's missing the entire inner lip. All this inner lip gone. I found all the pieces and I found the spring, but yeah, that was what was supposed to be in there. This is what was in there. I'm gonna put some oil around the outer lip of this. We'll drop it down in there and then use the old one to push it down in. Got that in there. Old one, and where's the head to my dead blow? Looks like it's going on there pretty straight. So got just a little bit left to go. And I need a thinner piece of wood. Alright, I think we are good. So let's get this back in there. Alright, I got the paper gasket on here. And drain hole is at the bottom. So now that that is done, and this whole thing is dry, and let me make sure the drain plug is in tight, we are going to fill this up and make sure nothing else is leaking in here. I am 99.9% positive that it was that input shaft seal. We're going to fill it with oil and see what happens. So this is where you fill it, and there is a little mark on the front that tells you how full it needs to be. It's like right here is empty or fill, and right here is full. So, oh, and it's cruddy. Everything on this tractor is cruddy. And it's getting dark, so this is probably the last thing I'm going to be doing tonight. And we can leak check it tomorrow. I grabbed the only funnel I really have. I don't know if that's going to help much. But we're gonna try it. We're gonna leave this sit overnight. And see what it looks like in the morning. Alright, it's been 24 hours and we are completely dry. So it is time to start putting this tractor back together. Not perfect, but it's good enough. Alright, so these oh yeah, there we go. Alright, some cotter pins are in. There we go. So I'm not quite sure where my memory card died. We were in the middle of pushing the tractor out. So we got it out to here. I went ahead and reattached all the fuel lines and everything. Put a battery in it. Got everything buttoned up. Went ahead and attached all the linkages back. I got the clutch pedal free play done, and you can see on the shaft now it actually works the way it's supposed to. So we're gonna fire this thing up and see if it'll actually drive now. Alright, so now we have a running, driving tractor. A couple other things while we've been tearing it apart that I know we're going to have to take a look at. Fuel tank's leaking a little bit from there. We have a leak right here. We have a leak right here. PTO shaft is leaking a little bit. So we got some work to do. But it's running and driving now. And that was, I hope, the main problem. So I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll bring you back for more videos.
Hello.